All right, so why don't you ask that question again? Because I think a lot of people could benefit from it.
Thank you. Yes. My question is, how do I determine the source of what I call the voices in my head? I hear information, and how do I determine what is for real, what is source and spirit-based information, and what is maybe just random little mind chatter going on? I've heard messages and dismissed them because I did not really want to accept the information of, well, guess what? You don't need to buy that because the cat you're buying that for isn't going to live long enough to use all those toys. And I thought, I don't want to hear that. No, that's just, forget that. That's silly. And it turned out to come true. So I'd like to get more clarity on how to be clear on what that source is, how to hear better.
Awesome. So before we hit record just now, we did a drawing for Susan about how she could tell what the source is. So this is the one that came out of me, and it basically says that, it's her higher self, it's the right information, but she's going to hear it differently depending on her vibration in the current moment. See how it's like tangled up? It's like the information can get tangled, it can get sloppy, or it can get a little bit distorted based on her current filter, her current mood, her current vibration. And so knowing just like it's based on your vibration can be not so helpful, right? Like you want to know, what do you do to make it clearer, stronger, and what is this stuff? So this is definitely something that I used to deal with, especially during my teenage years when I was in a big depression, but I was also like not really knowing how to control my intuition. It was just happening all the time. And even this isn't really what you mentioned, but even before I would go to sleep every night, I would see these movies of like sometimes war, sometimes like all these negative scenes. And I had to ask myself the same question that you're asking, like, what is this? Is this me? Is this like, it reminded me of what Nostradamus used to write about, right? Like these big, crazy world events.
I would do, and still do, I do the time travel thing, the deja vu. I mean, I've gone up to a year, at least a year into the future. It's just like, darn it, not the lottery numbers or anything. It'd just be some random everyday event. I'm like, okay, that was interesting, but okay.
Yeah, well, so to make things more relevant, to make it more positive, to make it clearer, to turn the volume up on what you want to hear, or what's helpful for you, really, because you won't always want to hear it, but it will always be helpful. You really, raising your vibration is like a daily task. It's really about decluttering your mind, your body, your physical space, your emotional space, and it's about really being dedicated to your own personal truth.
Okay.
And so on a physical level, what you can do is you can go around your space and just see what you don't need anymore, even if it's a paper clip, even if it's like an old t-shirt, whatever you don't need or want, get rid of it, donate it, throw it out, put it in the recycle bin, reuse it, give it to some friends. It seems really trivial, but honestly, it's super important to keep your physical space current with what you're really into at the moment. And so don't be trapped by those feelings of like guilt and obligation. Like you spent money on something. Well, who cares? If you don't like it anymore, get rid of it. Somebody
get rid of it, yeah.
You don't want to throw it out. Well, who cares? They're not in your space using it, so
right.
Throw it out. Mm-hmm. That's going to open up some space for you inside of you as well. But ask yourself, in your life, in your daily life, like, is there anything you're tolerating? Is there anything that you don't really want to be doing, but you're doing anyway? Maybe it's just a habit. Like, even if it's watching the same old TV show, but you don't really like it anymore, you're just watching it because it's a habit.
So it takes up space that you might use instead to focus on things that would move you forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Any foods you've outgrown but you still buy, friends you call, Facebook acquaintances that you look at their page. Try to just see, is there anything you're doing that it doesn't make you happy, and see if you can get rid of it. And meditate. You don't have to meditate any certain way, but finding time to listen to those thoughts that are running through your head. Like, meditation doesn't have to be about clearing your mind. Meditation can be about sitting there and listening to your mind. Watch whatever is going by. What thoughts are coming up? Are they judgments? Are they about other people? Are they about work? It doesn't matter. Everything's neutral. Just watch whatever comes up, and do that for like at least 10 minutes a day. And that will start to make more space. So it's really just about making space and choosing on purpose, like your food, your clothes, your cleanliness in your house. And eventually you'll be able to choose your thoughts better, and you'll really start hearing more clearly, and it will be a higher vibration. Does that all make sense?
It does a lot more, yes. I usually go through my house at least a couple times a year. The purge, push things out, because it just feels better overall. Mm-hmm. Things have a place and they go back in their place and that kind of thing. So what I'm hearing is that I need to turn up the volume, so to speak, on those habits, and that will bring things more into focus for myself. By creating space, I create that silence and room for that. Okay. For that voice to become clearer and stronger and louder and larger, rather than a little whisper that I have to try and, kind of squint, and I can't quite hear it or make it out, or it doesn't sound right, or help that voice become.
It's kind of true and kind of not true. So, like, your head will become clearer. However, it'll become clearer so that little voice can be heard more easily. So it's not like your intuition's ever really going to shout at you. It can, but even for me, more often than not, it's a very subtle thing. It is a little whisper, but I can hear it because there's not much else there. You know what I mean? It's still quiet, but since my mind is quiet, I can hear the intuition better.
Okay. I've been wondering about that too, like, what's the volume? I don't know exactly what it sounds like for other people.
It's not like how we're talking to each other. It's not like this big booming voice is ever going to come into your head. It's light, it's like something, like a tiny little deposit of a whisper.
Okay.
Yeah. And make sure also that you're speaking your truth more, because that will raise your vibration as well and clear out the clutter in there. So make sure you're honest with people. You're not doing things because you feel obligated. You're speaking up for yourself, and you can do it in a diplomatic way, but make sure you're not holding back.
Yes. It really doesn't do anybody any favors, and it's best just to, nope.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
So does that give you an action step to do?
It does. It does. It really sharpens what I sort of was perceiving, but it's like, oh my God, I have to do stuff. I have to work. Oh my God, really? It's not just going to fall into my lap? It's like, yeah, this does involve some responsible action. That if I want to keep moving forward and to have greater life fulfillment and satisfaction, this is what's necessary. This will give me more of all of those things. That's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It will bring you greater happiness while you're doing it, but it does require some effort to get there. All right. Well, thank you, Susan, so much for asking and for letting me record this.
Here. Let's see if that helps. Oh my goodness. I think